I'm Storm Track 12's Chief Meteorologist Skip Waters, tracking that nor'easter that's producing rain and snow across the Northeast and still controlling our weather in North Carolina. News Channel 12 at 5 starts right now.
Getting the facts right. You're watching News Channel 12 at 5.
Because you reaffirmed the spirit that has triumphed over war and depression, the spirit that has lifted this country from the depths of despair to the great heights of hope, the belief that while each of us will pursue our own individual dreams, we are an American family and we rise or fall together as one nation and as one people.
President Obama gets 4 more years in office. We're getting the latest facts on a mixed bag of reaction the day after. Good evening, I'm Valentina Wilson.
And I'm Wes Goforth. Welcome to News Channel 12 at 5. First tonight, a shaky day on Wall Street today. After falling 369 points early in the session, the Dow Jones ended the day down 313. That's the worst day of the year so far. Fitch Financial Ratings issued a statement saying newly elected President Obama will have no fiscal honeymoon. Fitch says he must work toward a credible plan to reduce the nation's deficit. If not, it says the government risks losing its top AAA credit rating next year.
The long, bitter, and costly election may have changed the political landscape. Karen Travers reports from Washington on what it all means for Americans and what's ahead.
In his victory speech last night, President Obama brought back a familiar theme: hope.
While our road has been hard, while our journey has been long, we have picked ourselves up. We have fought our way back. And we know in our hearts that for the United States of America, the best is yet to come.
After weeks of a deadlocked race, it was a huge night for the president. Not only did he hold that critical Midwestern firewall, he also picked up several other key battlegrounds on his way to a big electoral vote win. The mood in Chicago was euphoric. The crowd of nearly 20,000 on their feet for hours, cheering and dancing as each state was called for the president. In Boston, it could not have been more different. Emotional Romney staffers and supporters who believed until the bitter end that they would pull out the win. In his concession speech, Romney was gracious.
I so wish that I had been able to fulfill your hopes to lead the country in a different direction.
The exit poll data tells the story of how the president won a second term. Whites accounted for 72% of voters, the fewest in exit polls dating to 1976. The president lost white voters by 20 points, but among the 28% non-whites, a crushing margin, 80% to Romney's 20. The changing face of America is sure to change politics.
The Republican Party is a madmen party in a modern family America, and it just doesn't fit anymore.
Now it's back to business. President Obama called House Speaker John Boehner today, and the biggest priority here in Washington, reaching a bipartisan deal on the deficit. Karen Travers, ABC News, Capitol Hill.
And North Carolina's electoral votes went to Mitt Romney last night.
Most of the counties in eastern North Carolina went for Mitt Romney. There were some exceptions. President Obama won a majority in Pitt, Martin, Bertie, and Washington counties. We checked in at a hometown restaurant in one of the red counties today. News Channel 12's John Erickson was there. He joins us with the talk of the town tonight. John?
Wes, today we found some people looking for comfort food as perhaps a relief for their election night wounds. We went to the Country Biscuit in New Bern. The restaurant's been there for 3 decades. The political talk while we were there was mostly supporting Mitt Romney. And there are questions of whether Washington now will work for them.
How's it going to work? You know, what direction are we going to go? We can't go back to where we were 5 years ago. We don't need to go the way we're going, I don't think.
Over there. Is it any good? Some people were so angry, they told me their comments just aren't appropriate for television. Now, we worked hard and did find one person there at the restaurant who says he is at peace with the president's re-election. Wes.
All right, John. Mr. Romney won North Carolina by fewer than 100,000 votes.
And as we continue our election coverage, North Carolina Governor-elect Pat McCrory meets the media and talks about his win against Democrat Walter Dalton. News Channel 12 has been covering this story in Charlotte since yesterday. Jamie McCutcheon attended McCrory's news conference this morning, and here's some of what he had to say.
As you saw in my campaign, we did not have that division. I had people from all over the political perspective because they appreciated our tone and the building of relationships. And we agreed to disagree on issues. And I think that's what we need to learn at the national level, and I can't forget that also why I govern. Yes, sir.
The next lieutenant governor of North Carolina could also be a Republican. Dan Forest beat out Democrat Linda Coleman in a very close contest, but there is a chance for a recount. Forest came out ahead by just 15,000 votes out of more than 4 million votes cast.
And a surprise winner in a North Carolina House race speaks out in our area. Republican newcomer Brian Brown defeated seven-term incumbent Democrat Marion McLawhorn, that in the race for the State House District 9 seat, which represents Pitt County. Brown owns a small business in Greenville and is on the Pitt County Crime Stoppers Executive Board. He says a struggling economy led to his decision to run for the House seat.
It was a pretty easy decision for us. When the opportunity arose, we said, let's do this. You know, this is an exciting opportunity, and people need somebody that is living right now and understands the issues of today.
Brian Brown says he hasn't had a chance to speak with incumbent McLawhorn yet. He will begin his term in January.
Parts of the Northeast get pounded by another storm. This is a look at New York City around noon today. In eastern Carolina, we're dealing with another dose of clouds and cool air, but we will enjoy a nice warm-up in just a few days. Skip joins us now to show us what he's tracking.
Well, let's start off with Storm Track 12 Live Doppler and show you that it is cloudy, damp, and cool out there. Now notice much of Onslow, Duplin, Western Jones, Southern Lenoir, Wayne County not seeing any rain. Same for Hyde and Pamlico, but there are some sprinkles falling across much of Carteret up into Craven and Eastern Jones. Steady or light rain from the Highway 17 corridor, Vanceboro up to north of Washington, and a few sprinkles. This is all moving from northwest to southeast. A little unusual movement as it's wrapping around the backside of that big low to the north. It's cloudy at the beach. This is the channel marker cam looking from the foot of the Atlantic Beach Bridge back over Morehead City. Should stay cloudy and damp for most of the night.
We're learning more tonight about the mother and son who were hit by an 18-wheeler yesterday in Lenoir County.
The crash happened off Highway 70 near LaGrange. Troopers say the woman was coming out of BJ's Grill carrying her son when the big rig ran off the highway and hit the mother and child in the parking lot. We have an update tonight on the victim's conditions. News Channel 12's Christy Andrews is live in the newsroom with the facts.
Val, troopers are still not releasing many details on this accident, but we are learning more from family members today. Now take a look. This is the scene from the accident yesterday. That's the car right there that the family members say 22-year-old Tiffany Smith was getting into with her 2-year-old son. She was putting him in the car seat in the back when the tractor trailer ran off the road and hit them. Now they were both taken to Vidant Medical Center in Greenville. The hospital is not releasing the conditions of the victims, but according to family members I spoke with today, the 2-year-old boy has had surgery on his leg, but he is expected to be okay. Now, the mother is in critical condition at this point. We know that she was 7 months pregnant, and family members say she lost the baby in the accident. Now, as I said before, troopers are releasing very limited information at this point, but Trooper Coleman Heath of the Highway Patrol tells me this is a reminder to drivers of just how important it is to pay attention to the road.
Especially drivers of C&Vs that are hauling a lot of weight. People that drive on the highway with regular passenger vehicles need to be more cautious of big trucks because they can't slow down like smaller vehicles can.
Surveillance video from a nearby gas station shows what may have caused the crash. The video shows a pickup truck stopping in the left turning lane right there, but then it pulls right back out into traffic, and that's when you see the tractor trailer come in and it swerves to avoid it, and that ultimately crashes into the parking lot of BJ's Grill. Now, troopers cannot yet confirm the cause of the crash, but they say the incident there with the pickup was likely a factor. And coming up at 6 o'clock, I'll tell you what family members say about the mother's condition as well as her hopeful recovery. Reporting live in the newsroom, Christy Andrews, News Channel 12.
All right, Christy, and no charges have been filed in the accident. Troopers continue to look into what caused it.
Well, some hot-button issues got high-profile attention this election. We look at some measures that passed and some that didn't around the country.
And New Jersey gets ready for another storm. We'll hear from Governor Chris Christie on how his state is preparing.
I'm Chief Meteorologist Skip Waters, and even though that storm's up in the northeastern part of the country, it's fanning some light rain and drizzle over our area tonight. Your forecast is next as we track the light rain, mist, and fog on WCTI News Channel 12.
Getting the facts right. You're watching News Channel 12 with Valentina Wilson, Wes Goforth, and Storm Track 12 Chief Meteorologist Skip Waters. News Channel 12. Getting the facts right. Alerting you to severe weather dangers in eastern Carolina. This is Storm Track 12 Chief Meteorologist Skip Waters.
Well, it is cloudy, it is damp, it is cool, and you know what? There's even a little mist and light rain falling, at least across parts of the east. Now, Wayne County, southern Lenore, western Jones, Onslow, Duplin, Pender, no rain falling right now. But as you can see across the beaches of Carteret County, there's a little mist and drizzle that runs down through open ground farms and down east up 58 as you run from Pelletier towards Stella. Some light rain and mist over the Croatan near Havelock and up Highway 70 as you move toward New Bern. Steadier showers, though, once you get out to the northwest of New Bern around Vanceboro and Wilmar, back over to Fort Barnwell and down to about Jasper. Light rain showers, Chocowinity up State Road 33, Shelmerdine, Shine, up to Old Ford and almost over to Pinetown. And then there's some very light rain and mist up across parts of Bertie and Hertford County. When you look at this on the bigger view, you can see it's drifting from northwest to southeast, and this is actually wrapping around the backside of that big nor'easter that's plowing across the beaches of New Jersey this afternoon into this evening, producing high water levels. But for us, close to home, the rainfall has generally been light. I don't see anybody except Hatteras getting more than 1/4 of an inch. They had a little better than 1/2. This is what the cloudy skies look like from the channel marker, and this is what the cloud cover looks like around the backside of the nor'easter. Notice how it's coming our way from northwest to southeast, and while there's dry air just to our west, it could work its way into some of our southern counties later tonight. That'll just cause the fog to increase, and it'll probably be the middle of the day tomorrow before this storm trucks on out to the northeast and relaxes its grip on our weather, allowing for no weather threats over the next 72 hours and pretty decent forecast weather by the time we get to the weekend. Upper 30s now across the areas on the north inland side from Ahoskie to Greenville, mid-40s to the south. It'll be cool this evening with Kinston experiencing the breezes, making those temperatures in the upper 30s and low 40s with the wind running at 6 to 13 miles an hour, making it feel like it's closer down to 40 degrees just about everywhere. Feels like 37 at the beach. Kinston, actual temperature 45 with a little drizzle and mist at 7 tonight. Cloudy skies at 11. It'll be down to 37, and it will be chilly when we start it off in the morning, around 34, 35 degrees with the clouds lingering. Now, tonight we are watching a little dry air trying to work its way in from the west, but overall a mostly cloudy night with some patches of drizzle. Notice how Futurecast doesn't see the drizzle, but it's there, and it's likely going to be there until well after midnight tonight. And then into the day we go tomorrow. We'll start the morning with clouds, but watch as the dry air moves in. Morning clouds give way to afternoon sunshine, and by midday into the afternoon, it should be very nice with a lot of sun, and then it's going to stay nice for the next several days. All right, your forecast: cloudy, damp, and cold with drizzle, mist, and fog tonight. Mid-30s inland, upper 30s rivers and sounds, mid-40s at the beach. Tomorrow, mostly cloudy in the morning, but afternoon sun comes in, and it'll be sunny for just about everyone with highs in the mid to upper 50s. The planning forecast takes us out for a week and says Friday there'll be some Veterans Day activities, Saturday Veterans Day activities. Sunday is actually Veterans Day. Should be a beautiful day. Next chance of rain doesn't come until next Tuesday.
All right, Skip. Well, marijuana, same-sex marriage, and the death penalty, just some of the things on the ballot across many states. We look at the results across the country and show you how voters decided some controversial issues.
And be sure to give us a call when you see news happen at 800-738-6840. Email us and post it on our Facebook page. You're watching News Channel 12 at 5. Thank you for staying with News Channel 12. I'm Wes Goforth.
And I'm Valentina Wilson. Several states passed new laws yesterday. Voters in Colorado and Washington state legalized the recreational use of marijuana. The laws will regulate the production, possession, and distribution of marijuana for people 21 and older. The Washington referendum called for a 25% tax rate on marijuana. Colorado Governor John Hickenlooper said today he's not necessarily behind the proposal, but will not stand in its way either.
I think, as most people know, I didn't support the initiative, but you can't argue with the will of the voters, right? We are here in a democracy, and the sentiment was pretty clear.
Hickenlooper did add, however, that he didn't know how the federal government would react to the change. The state of Oregon had a similar measure on its ballot, but that one failed.
California voters want to keep the death penalty. The ballot initiative, Prop 34, would have switched the more than 700 death row inmates to life without parole. Supporters say it could have saved the state $130 million a year. California's in the middle of a cash crunch. The state's death penalty has cost Californians $4 billion since 1978. Only 13 inmates have been put to death in those 34 years. Yesterday's vote was close, 53 to 47%.
And voters passed a same-sex marriage referendum. We are waiting to hear the final outcome of a similar measure in Washington state. 6 other states and the District of Columbia previously passed laws allowing gays and lesbians marriage rights, but those were through the actions of judges or legislators and not voters. Meantime, we're learning new insight on how the president won another term in office. Analysts say women voters were one key to President Obama's victory. And tonight, we're getting the facts right on how women did in election 2012. According to exit polls, the president won with women overall by 11 points, 55% to Romney's 44%. With single non-married women, the gap was even greater, 67% to 31%. Female voters showed their clout in other races as well. The U.S. Senate will have the largest number of women members in history, with at least 19 female senators, including Massachusetts' Elizabeth Warren and Wisconsin's Tammy Baldwin, the first openly gay senator. New Hampshire made history yesterday when voters elected the state's first female governor and an all-female congressional delegation. So lots going on with the vote yesterday.
Always good to see what happened on the day after so we can figure out exactly what happened there. Well, New Jersey's bracing itself for another nor'easter tonight. Governor Christie says they're taking steps. Still in Sandy's aftermath. You're watching News Channel 12 at 5.
Hard to believe, but we're talking about another nor'easter barely a week after Hurricane Sandy devastated parts of that region. And these are some pictures and video of previous nor'easters across the United States. New Jersey is still in recovery mode. Officials are still touring storm-ravaged communities to, make note of the damage there. As dire as the situation still is, Governor Chris Christie still found room for a bit of humor during a news conference today.
We have to begin to work to prepare for the storm that's coming in a few hours. Amazingly, I said somewhere earlier today, when I finally got that final kind of forecast that I got last night, I said I'm waiting for the locust and pestilence next.
That's a biblical reference there.
Well, yes, it is.
The storm could pose a major threat to the Northeast. Forecasters predict high winds, heavy rain, and snow in some areas. Also frigid temperatures and even flooding.
New at 5:30 tonight, here are some stories we're working on for our 5:30 newscast. Relief efforts continue as Sandy victims brace for that nor'easter, and we hear from local Red Cross representatives on ways you can still help the folks in the Northeast. Plus, a man drafted by the New York Yankees for his awesome pitching skills a long time ago. Now, Brian Taylor's headed for prison. We have the latest on the drug investigation and conviction of that Carteret County star. That plus your local headlines coming up at 5:30.
We have more News Channel 12 at 5 to come, so stay with us. Well, November is Lung Cancer Awareness Month, and we have a local tie-in, some great stuff going on in Eastern Carolina.
Guys are getting the word out here, Val. A group of physicians' assistant students took a class project about the anti-smoking campaign to the next level by forming a boy band. News Channel 12's Tori Shaw talked exclusively with the medically musical act.
Students at East Carolina University, Sean Russell, Adam Rhodes, and Joe Bartholomew turned a class project into boy bandemia.
Bandemia basically means your bone marrow is producing white blood cells to mount an attack against the bacterial infection.
Modeled after the Backstreet Boys' 1999 hit, I Want It That Way, these future physicians' assistants wanted to promote an anti-smoking message to teenagers. In their parody, I'll Quit But Not Today, Boy Bandemia sings about the negative effects of smoking, from getting cancer to smelling bad.
Music is a huge influence on our culture, especially in that age group. So we decided to go with the boy band image in hopes that it would have more of an impact than a fear tactic would.
Boy Bandemia never thought this classroom project would get recognition from national associations.
I was very surprised that the organization like the American Heart Association actually gave our video recognition.
The AHA and the American Lung Association tweeted the YouTube link to their followers. In 2 weeks, the video received 5,000 views. The group is also not planning to be a one-hit wonder, with graduation just around the corner.
I would like to keep it up if we could do it. I mean, hopefully we're not located too far away from each other.
A quote from the band's page on Facebook states, "If this video makes you laugh, then it's done its job. If this video makes you quit smoking, we've done our job."
It starts today.
In Pitt County, Tori Shaw, News Channel 12.
Very memorable.
Way to go, guys, doing more than their part.
Well, thanks for watching News Channel 12 at 5. News Channel 12 at 5:30 starts now.